Paul continues then in verses 8 to 11 to explain regarding what he's just said. And he said, we, and of course that's Paul himself and Timothy, we knew and we still know, we perceive, we see that the law is beautiful. God's law has a manifested decorous, harmonious, or acceptable goodness. When, if ever, someone lawfully may use it, if it should ever happen that it would be needful for a purpose, make use of it in a lawful manner. Not the way those people were treating it, but make use of it in a lawful manner, according to the law, the way it says it should be used, and that is, of course, according to what God says. Having known and still knowing this, that the law is not laid out for a righteous person. God does not make law as though to lie down in a position ready for action for a just person, one who in his walk or in his behavior that is justified, behaving in a justified manner. But law is laid down for who? For lawless people, for those who do not abide by God's law, by what God says, who do not obey what God says regarding how to behave correctly. And law is laid out for unsubjected people, those people who are not in subjection to God's law, who do not submit themselves to God's law, what God has laid out to be administered among people so that they can live their lives correctly during their everyday living of life. It's also laid out for the not reverential people, those who are without reverential respect for God, who do not have reverence to or towards God. And sinners, those who miss the mark of God's word, who err from the truth of what God says. Also for unholy people, those people who do not practice holiness, which is pure godliness, being free from all crime. So it's for those who are not in the state of constantly observing what God says, who do not practice every duty and function according as God laid it out to be lived by us. It's for the profane people, those who desecrate or trample, pollute, violate, who cross the threshold, as it were, from being holy to being unholy, not sanctified and not initiated. It's therefore father beaters, those who beat their fathers, who tread on them as though cattle treading on corn. That's the likeness of the word that Paul uses here in the Greek text. Father beaters, those people who have actions or words that are as though quashing their fathers, even to the degree of killing them. And also mother beaters, they were treating their mothers as though beating them. Treading them, again, that same word, as though cattle threshing the corn, you know. Treading it down, pushing them down, squashing them. Even to the degree of killing their mothers. It's also for murderers of men, those who wrongly kill adult males, and generally that word for men refers to both the male and the female, murderers of mankind. Fornicators, that word fornicators refers to those who carry out wrongful sexual activities or relations, pornographic actions, many times used with a reference to idolatry. The law is also given for homosexuals, males who go to bed having sexual relations with other men, specifically those who are the active male-like partner in a homosexual relationship. And generally this word would also include the females with females, lesbians. Men traffickers, those who deal or trail adult males. They trade adult males as animals. They're tyrants, treating them as animals. Liars are those people who speak lies, false statements, falsifiers. Perjurers, those people who make an oath on or against an oath they've already made, and thus they're falsely swearing. They're committing perjury. And Paul continues by saying, and if some different thing is adverse, if there's any other thing that opposes a different thing, that opposes or is in opposition, is in a position of lying or laying against what? The teaching being sound according to the good message of the glory of the happy God. So anything else that is adverse to the teaching, and of course that would include the teaching itself, the doctrine, and the action of teaching, instructing others. So any other different thing that is adverse to the true teaching of God's word. God's word being healthy, the good health or well, according to the good message, the gospel, the evangel of the glory, of the importance, the splendor, the renown of the happy God. Paul addressed God as being happy God. He is felicitous. He is continuing in the state of being happy, happiness. Which good message emphatically I, Paul, was trusted with, or Paul was entrusted with this good message. And now he's passing it on to Timothy so as to teach others and to stay put on the truth of the accuracy of God's word. It is also interesting to notice that that word trusted with or entrusted with comes from the same Greek word that is normally translated as belief, the Greek word pistis. And the reason it is that it's used in the passive form of the verb with the accusative, so that the one that is giving what is entrusted to another believes that the one who receives it will also believe what is given to him and will carry it out. He will be believable so as to carry it out, to obey it. He's fully capable of taking care of the belief that is given to him. Paul was entrusted by God with the good message of the glory of God who is happy. What a great privilege and responsibility had been entrusted to Paul. Continuing in verse 12 of chapter 1 of 1 Timothy.